Okay, time for a new video. Welcome back to my channel, or hello if you're new. This is a very different type of video here on my channel today. A couple of weeks ago, I put something out on my Twitter page asking if people would be interested in seeing me talk about the upcoming edition of the FIFA World Cup, which gets going very shortly in North America. And a few people said yes, they wouldn't mind seeing such a video. So here it is for you now. Today, I am not going to be talking about the Eurovision Song Contest for a change. I am going to be discussing the upcoming 2026 edition of the FIFA World Cup, which begins on June the 11th, which is in a few days' time, at the time of recording this video you're watching now, in Mexico City. As always, you're welcome to let me know your thoughts on anything I discuss in today's video by leaving a comment down below, and as always, there are links in the description to my other social media pages. Check them out if you so wish. Before I get into this, I should say that I will be clicking backwards and forwards quite a bit, so do bear with me. I am not a huge, hardcore football fan. I don't really support any one particular football team, but when it comes to international football, I do try and follow it as closely as possible. Right now, there are a lot of friendly matches taking place, but the actual World Cup begins in a few days' time. More teams than ever before, 3 host nations, and the final will take place on July the 19th. Because of the time difference, I am in England, the tournament is in North America, of course. Most of the kickoff times are late at night, or indeed in the middle of the night for me. So there is a very, very strong possibility that I will be watching more highlights of games at this World Cup rather than full matches. Certainly, being in England, I will try and watch all of England's games in full, and there are some other juicy group stage matches in particular that I will try and watch the full 90 minutes of as well. At the moment, I am in discussions with 2 very good friends of mine about potentially meeting up and watching a few games over the next couple of weeks. We'll wait and see. Anyway, what I'm going to do today is just go through all of the teams one by one, focus on a couple of players, and that's all this video is really going to be. I did make a prediction for the outcome, which I will load up shortly. It's on Ultrazone, that's the name of the website, and the reason I used that site is because so many of the teams finishing third in the group stages will progress to the knockout round, and the exact machinations of all of that is a little bit convoluted to work out if you're just doing it by yourself. This particular website seems to do it for you in the correct way. So that's the site that I used, and I'll be loading that up in a little while. Let's begin with Group A, though, and I do have this little magazine to help me too. But this group consists of Mexico, who are one of the co-hosts, of course, alongside Czechia, the Czech Republic, South Africa, and Korea Republic, or South Korea. These matches will all be played pretty much in Mexico, bar one tie, I think, which is Czechia against South Africa. That's in Atlanta on June the 18th. So beginning with Czechia, I have Wikipedia loaded up here, and I'm just going to go through the squads that have been announced for each team. I think every team has now definitely confirmed their squad for this tournament. So for Czechia, when I was growing up, you had players like Petr Cech, who was a great Premier League goalkeeper, spent years at Chelsea. You had Pavel Nedved, Vladimir Smica, Milan Baroš, Jan Kolar, Jankulovski. You had some really, really great players. And, of course, Czechia were a force in world football once upon a time, sort of the mid-90s into the early 2000s. They never won anything that I can recall, but they were a force. Anyway, nowadays, I don't think they're going to get terribly far. I'm looking at the squad here. The oldest player in the team is Vladimir Darida, who is 35. The youngest is 18-year-old Hugo Sochurek. Most caps is Tomas Souček. He's 31, 17 goals, 90 appearances. I assume this is accurate. He plays for West Ham. He's not been too bad for them. He's been in the Premier League a long time. You've also got Ladislav Krejci, who I think has been on loan at Wolves, looking at this. Most of the players are based in the Czech Republic playing for either Slavia or Sparta Prague. It's not a bad team. Vladimir Čufal, he's 33 now, one of the veterans of this squad. But in terms of real star quality, it is lacking. Czechia came through one of the European playoffs, I think it was against Denmark, and Denmark are no pushovers. So the fact that they qualified is very impressive. Looks like they're going to play a 3-4-2-1 formation. He's going to become the manager, one of the oldest managers in history at the World Cup. So there you go. I don't think they're going to get through, but you could draw 3 matches 0-0 and still progress to the next round. That is one of the bizarre things about this expanded format. Moving on to Mexico, the manager is Javier Aguirre, who apparently is the greatest Mexican manager in history. They are a team that are not too bad. They've always not been too bad, but when they come up against stronger opposition, that's where they fall short. They have been eliminated in the last 16 in 7 of the last 8 World Cups. They have been eliminated in the last 16, which is quite extraordinary. The aim this time on home soil surely has to be to aim for the quarterfinals at best. They could play England in the latter stages. That could be a very tasty tie indeed. In terms of star players, well, you've got to look at 40-year-old goalkeeper Guillermo Ochoa. I think this is his 6th World Cup. He's playing in Cyprus now. He's got the curly hair. I don't think it was the last World Cup. It might have been the World Cup in Russia. He was excellent, pulled off some great saves. Raul Jimenez is 35, over 120 appearances, nearly 50 international goals. He's at Fulham, did play for Wolves, bit of a penalty specialist, certainly a pretty reliable player. But like Czechia, I've got to be honest, I'm not sure if there's real star quality through and through with this team. The youngest player in the squad is 17-year-old Gilberto Mora, who plays for Tijuana. Apparently, he's already got 8 caps, so he could be a young talent to keep an eye on moving forwards. Anyway, that's Mexico. They have a very nice kit. They're going to have a lot of fans, obviously, cheering them on. The aim has to be to win this group and then hope for the best in the knockout stages. Then we have South Africa. They are managed by a Belgian who's in his early 70s. I believe this is their first World Cup since 2010. When they hosted, which is quite extraordinary. I could be inaccurate with some things here, so do bear that in mind. Anyway, they have a lot of very colourful, lively fans as well. When I was growing up, you had players like Stephen Pienaar, Benny McCarthy, Premier League players. Nowadays, that's not really the case. Lyle Foster is going to be leading the line. He has 10 international goals and plays for Burnley, who were just relegated from the top flight. The oldest player is 36. The youngest is 20, apparently. Most of the players are playing in South Africa. 4-2-3-1 formation, apparently. If they get out of the group, it's a success. Anything more than that is the real cherry on top of the cake, if you see what I mean. And then you've got South Korea, or Korea Republic. They have, of course, Son Heung-min, the captain, 33 years of age, 56 international goals, nearly 150 games for his country, was at Spurs for a long time. As soon as he left Spurs along with Harry Kane, Tottenham went straight into the gutter. They are a bad, bad team. But he is still a talismanic figure, one of the greatest Asian players of all time. I really like him. Very reliable goal scorer. Currently at LAFC. A lot of these players are based far and wide. You've got a guy who plays for Celtic in Scotland. You've got a guy who plays for Swansea, running out of breath, Swansea, who play in the second tier of English football. You've got Kim Min-jae, who's 29, very experienced, plays for Bayern Munich, got Champions League experience, of course. It's really not a bad team, and if the squad harmony is there and everything falls into place, then you never know. Korea Republic, South Korea, could be a real force at this tournament. They did finish 4th in the 2002 World Cup, which of course they joint hosted with Japan. So there we go. That is Group A. It's a bit wide open, but really you would expect Mexico to win it. There's pressure on their shoulders. The pressure might become too much. We'll just have to wait and see. And of course you've got to factor in the environment. The heat is going to be quite immense for a lot of these nations, whether they're in Mexico or in the US. The heat could be quite stifling. And I'm looking at a team like Czechia. They might struggle with it. I don't know. But that is Group A. Moving on to Group B, and the first team here is Bosnia and Herzegovina, who surprisingly qualified. They overcame Italy in the European playoffs, which was very impressive. But then again, Italy are a very stinky team. They have not been good for years. Looking at their team, they are led by 40-year-old Edin Dzeko, 73 international goals, 148 appearances, currently playing for Schalke in Germany, was at Manchester City for a good while, wasn't that incredible, if I remember, had one or two decent seasons. Pretty reliable goal scorer, though, and he is by far the focal point of this team. You do also have Sead Kolasinac, who spent a couple of years at Arsenal, wasn't that sensational, 32 now, playing in Italy. You've got some other players based in Italy, a few more in Germany. You've got a guy who plays for Hull, Amir Hadjiametovic. Hull have just been promoted to the top flight, congratulations. And you've got a couple of players based in the Netherlands, France, Austria, Switzerland, Kazakhstan. They are spread far and wide. But I'm looking at the team and I'm thinking, besides Dzeko, where's the firepower? Because no other player in this squad has more than 4 international goals. And Dzeko has 73, as I said a moment ago. So, yeah, I am concerned about the firepower. But they will be difficult to break down. They were at the World Cup in 2014. Dzeko was in the squad for that one as well, I believe. So, yeah, just watch this space. But I do think they will do well not to finish last in this group. But we'll wait and see. Then we have Canada. Co-hosts Jesse Marsh is their manager. He was at Leeds for a little while, apparently. Yes, I do recall that. Anyway, Canada's squad is not that bad. This is their 3rd appearance at a World Cup. This is arguably the strongest Canadian squad in history. The oldest player is 33. The youngest is 20. We have Kyle Larin, who's 31, 30 international goals, 90 appearances for Southampton. That's who he plays for, who were kicked out of the second-tier playoffs recently here in England. That's a real coup, having a player like that on Southampton's books. I think that's a really good player to have. Jonathan David, who I think is such an underrated player in world football, 39 international goals, 77 appearances. He's at Juventus in Italy, pretty impressive. You've got Alphonso Davies, who plays more in a midfield role, I believe, for his country. 15 international goals, 58 appearances, 25, playing for Bayern Munich. Very impressive. You've got Liam Miller, who's at Hull City. You've got Ali Ahmed, who's at Norwich, who may well get promoted next season. You've got Alfie Jones at Middlesbrough. Owen Goodman, a backup goalkeeper, he's at Barnsley. A couple of players based in Belgium. It's a pretty well-rounded squad, and they're going to have a lot of support. Maybe the latter stages of this tournament are beyond them, but you just never know. Things could fall into place. And they do have some star quality. As for Qatar, they are managed by Julen Lopetegui, who has Premier League managerial experience. They have experience at the World Cup because they were the hosts last time out, but they didn't do that well. They are back-to-back Asian champions, I believe, which is seriously impressive. And they have so many players here with vast experience. Hassan Al-Haydos has 185 international caps. Akram Afif, 124 international caps, and he's only 29. You've got Almoez Ali, 55 international goals, 115 appearances, he's only 29. Only one player in the squad is based outside of Qatar, so these players are very close-knit, which works in their favour. However, they are the whipping boys of this group, and I think most people who are going to be following this tournament will expect Qatar to really struggle. They could beat Bosnia, which could get them 3 points, which could be enough to see them finish 3rd in the group and progress. But I'm not sure that's going to happen myself. And then you've got Switzerland, who had a very good Euros last time out, and honestly, they are dark horses as well. They are managed by one of their former players, Murat Yakin. They have never made it past the quarterfinals of a World Cup, and that was in 1954, the last time that happened. The oldest player in the squad is 34-year-old Remo Freuler, who plays for Bologna, but you've got Ricardo Rodriguez in defence, he's been there a long time. Granit Xhaka, the captain, now at Sunderland, was at Arsenal for a bit. Really fantastic player, can score some great long-range efforts. The strikers, Briel Embolo is the guy who's up front. He's not got a bad record for his country, but I wouldn't say that he's an absolutely world-class player myself. They've got a pretty good goalkeeper who is on Borussia Dortmund's books. That's Gregor Kobel. And yeah, there's plenty of experience. There are some relatively new players coming through as well. It's really not a bad squad. And I feel as though Switzerland, they regularly qualify for tournaments. They're just not quite strong enough to win a tournament. And what with this expanded World Cup, it's going to be very, very difficult. But you just never know. They'll be playing in San Francisco, LA and Vancouver. And that is it for Group B. Do bear with me as we move into Group C, which consists of Morocco, Brazil, Scotland and Haiti. We begin with Brazil. Carlo Ancelotti is the manager, massively experienced, knows pretty much everything there is to know about football. Looks like they're going to go with a 4-2-4 formation. When I was growing up, there's a phrase I'm going to be using many times. They were a real force. They won the World Cup in 2002, which is the first World Cup I remember watching. They had players like Ronaldo, the original, the best. You had Ronaldinho, Rivaldo, Dida, Cafu, Roberto Carlos. This was a real threatening team. Absolutely fantastic. And they've never been as good since. They really haven't been. And I think for a long time, nobody has necessarily feared playing Brazil. That's not to say that they are pushovers, because they're clearly not. This is one of the strongest teams in world football. They've got a very good goalkeeper in Alisson, who's been on Liverpool's books for years, although he could be leaving in the summer. You've got Marquinhos, who's one of the best defenders in the world, doing the business at PSG. Gabriel has just won the Premier League title for Arsenal. Casemiro, who I've never really rated that highly. He's been on Man United's books for a number of years, 34 years of age now. You've got Rafinha, who was at Leeds a couple of years ago and is now doing great things for Barcelona. Vinicius Jr., I know he's not necessarily the most popular guy. His international goal-scoring record isn't that sensational, but he's there, only 25. Could be a massive tournament for him. Who knows, maybe the Golden Boot awaits. Neymar is in the squad, the all-time leading goal scorer for Brazil, ahead of Pelé. 79 international goals, 128 appearances. Hasn't really done much for the national team for years, and he spends more time rolling about on the floor than he does actually playing football. But he obviously, is a star player, and has been for a number of years. They haven't won the World Cup since 2002, and of course, I do remember when they got battered by Germany in the semi-finals in 2014. That was a very, very famous match. I remember watching it and just thinking, wow, Brazil are shite. But, they recovered. They've played at every single World Cup. Are they one of the favourites? I'm not sure they are, but with Ancelotti in charge, anything could happen. Then we have Haiti, who have played at a World Cup before, but honestly, they are going to get their asses handed to them. That's entirely possible, I'm afraid to say. They have a 38-year-old in goal, playing in France, Johnny Placide. The youngest player in the squad is 20. You've got Wilson Isidore, who's playing at Sunderland. You've got Jean Richner Bellegarde, who's playing for Wolves. Yeah, I do know who he is. You've got a couple of players based in France. Yes, you've got one based in Hungary, I can see. One based in Iran, Dukans Nazan, one of the best names at this tournament, perhaps. 44 international goals in 77 games is really quite impressive. And I think they're just going to be up for a good time. Hopefully a lot of Haitians will travel to America to cheer them on. Their matches are in Boston, Philadelphia and Atlanta. We'll wait and see. It's going to be very, very tough. It's going to be very tough, certainly against Brazil. They might nab a goal here or there, but I think everybody is expecting them to struggle and not get out of this group. Then we have Morocco, surprise semi-finalists last time out, one of the strongest, if not the strongest, African team. They lost the African Cup of Nations earlier this year, and then they were awarded it weeks later because Senegal walked off the pitch, which I remember because I watched the game live. What an absolute shite show. Long story short, Morocco were 4th at the last World Cup. They have a great goalkeeper, Yassine Bounou, 89 international appearances, currently playing in Saudi Arabia. Achraf Hakimi's the captain, he's at PSG. Mazraoui is at Manchester United. Talbi is at Sunderland. Diop is at Fulham. Riyadh is at Crystal Palace. You've got a guy playing for Roma. You've got a couple of players based in France, a couple based in Spain, only a few based in Morocco. So this is a team that has players spread far and wide. You know, they are good enough to play for some very notable European teams. They play a 4-3-3. Their manager is from Morocco, Moroccan-Belgian. And what else is there to say? Do I think they're going to finish 4th again? I doubt it. But they're not underdogs. They are going to be a threat to any team. That leaves Scotland, managed by Steve Clarke, who has done an absolutely fantastic job. The way they qualified was absolutely incredible. They beat Denmark, that overhead kick, sensational. They are a pretty good team, no doubt about it, and I am familiar with many of these players. 43-year-old Craig Gordon is likely to start in goal. You've got Kenny McLean, Andy Robertson. It says Liverpool, but he's just joined Spurs. Very good defender. John McGinn, I think he's a really terrific player. He's at Aston Villa, 20 international goals. Lawrence Shankland has been banging the goals in for Hearts. He's just joined Rangers. Should be starting up front for them in this tournament, if you ask me, 30 years of age. You've got a guy at Ipswich. You've got Patterson at Everton, Gallen Doak at Bournemouth, Tyler Fletcher, who is the son of Darren Fletcher, 1 international appearance. He's been drafted in at the last minute, plays for Man United. McTominay left Man United, who I think have been, well, not so much this past season, but generally over the past few years they've been quite poor. He left, went to Napoli, and was nominated for the Ballon d'Or. Quite sensational. Nobody would have seen that coming a few years ago. But anyway, McTominay's in the squad, chips in with goals every now and then. It's really not a bad team at all. Ollie McBurney is not here, which is a bit surprising, because he scored quite a few goals this past season. But anyway, Scotland, they're going to be fired up for this. It's their first World Cup this century. They're going to have a lot of support. You're going to see a lot of people with Scotland flags painted over their faces. If they finish in the top 2, it's very impressive. But really, 3rd place is perhaps most likely. Let's move on to Group D. I'm going to try and rattle through this as best I can. We begin with Australia. They are in this group with Paraguay, the other co-hosts, the USA and Turkey. When I was growing up, Australia had players like Harry Kewell, Mark Viduka, Schwarzer in goal. Oh, they had Chipperfield. They had Vidmar. They had Aloisi and the other guy who played up front, whose name I can't remember. Anyway, nowadays, it's maybe not quite as impressive. Tony Popovic, who used to play for Crystal Palace and the Australian national team, he's the boss. The oldest guy in the squad is 34, Matthew Ryan, was on Arsenal's books for a while, also played for Brighton in the Premier League. He's now in Spain. You do have an 18-year-old here, Lucas Harrington, who plays in the MLS in the US. You've got Iran Kunda, who plays for Watford, Torre, who plays for Norwich. These players are spread far and wide, absolutely. Soutars at Leicester, who've just been relegated again. Matthew Leckie is still in the squad. He plays for Melbourne City. Yeah. I'm just looking at this group. It's going to be very, very tough for Australia. But if they can nab a draw, perhaps against Paraguay, and maybe sneak a win against the USA, that would be a real statement victory, then who knows, they really could get out of the group. However, they play Turkey first, and I think they are, along with Japan, the big dark horses of this tournament. As for Paraguay, I know so little about them. I really know so little about them. A lot of the players here are based in South America, but you do have Caballero, who's at Portsmouth. You have Gomez, who's playing for Brighton. Alderete, who's based at Sunderland. I think Roque Santa Cruz is still playing, and he's sort of like pushing 50 now. He's not in the team, of course, but he was a notable Paraguayan when I was growing up. Used to play for Blackburn, I believe. Yes. Who is that in that picture? Miguel Almiron, that's who it is. Oh, he's playing at Atlanta United these days. Was on Newcastle's books for a long time. Yeah, this is their first World Cup since 2010. They've never made it past the quarterfinals, and that was in 2010. I think they lost on penalties. I can't quite remember. Anyway, that's Paraguay. Moving on to Turkey, Vincenzo Montella, an Italian, is the captain, and they are massive dark horses. Finished third at the O2 World Cup, which is their last World Cup appearance. This is their third World Cup appearance in all. A lot of the players are based in Turkey. You've got Çalhanoğlu, who's 32 now, playing for Inter Milan. He's a great set-piece guy. You've got Zeki Çelik, who plays for Roma. Aktürkoğlu, who plays up front. He's at Fenerbahce. You've got that really good young guy, Arda Güler, who plays for Real Madrid. Could be a massive breakout tournament for him. Kenan Yildiz, who's at Juventus, could be a breakout tournament for him. Yeah, there's some really exciting young players in this squad, and I just think they've got such passion and determination. If they're struggling, if they go behind and there's 20 minutes left, you will see this team fight to the final whistle. I think they're really big dark horses coming into this, and their first match is on June the 14th at 5 a.m. UK time in Vancouver against Australia. That leaves the US. Pochettino is the boss, was the manager of Spurs for ages, could go back to Spurs in the future. Looking at the squad here, Christian Pulisic is the most notable name. Was at Chelsea, didn't do much. Now at AC Milan, 85 caps, 33 goals. Brendan Aronson is on Leeds books. Tyler Adams at Bournemouth. Anthony Robinson at Fulham. Chris Richards at Crystal Palace. Giovanni Reina is the son of Claudio Reina, who used to play for the USA. He is 23 and playing in Germany. Haji Wright banged in the goals this season for promoted Coventry City, so he could have a pretty good tournament perhaps. But, the days of Landon Donovan and Bocanegra and Tim Howard and Clint Dempsey, those days are long gone. And apart from maybe a few names here, it's an okay squad, but I'm not sure anybody is really going to fear them. And out of Canada, Mexico and the US, maybe it'll be the US who flop the most. I don't know. We'll wait and see. But definitely they're going to have a lot of support. Moving into Group E, and this is Ecuador, Germany, Cote d'Ivoire, Ivory Coast, and Curacao. We begin with Ecuador. I don't know too much about them. Their manager is from Argentina. Most appearances is Enner Valencia. He's 36, playing in Mexico, 105 appearances, 49 goals. Moises Caicedo, not a bad player at all. He's at Chelsea, 60 caps at 24, only 3 international goals. Hincapié is a defender for Arsenal, 51 caps at 24, very impressive. You've got a guy here who plays for Sunderland, a couple are based in Belgium, a few in Brazil. I don't really know too much about them. I've got to be honest with you. They've never made it past the last 16, and that was 20 years ago. But there you go. Can't really say much more than that, I'm afraid. Maybe they will spring a surprise or two. As for Germany, well, if you put a bet on them to win the World Cup and then they do so, you could win some very good money. Germany were knocked out in the group stage at the last World Cup and the World Cup before that. They're going to play a 4-2-3-1 apparently. Manuel Neuer is 40 and in the squad, 124 caps. Can't see him starting. I think it's going to be Baumann instead. The biggest concern here is probably the strike force. It's not particularly exciting, perhaps. Kai Havertz, he's okay on his day. Voltemade probably won't start. He's had an okay first season in the Premier League for Newcastle. Musiala is a very good player. Could have played for England, opted for Germany. 41 caps at 23, 9 international goals. He's at Bayern Munich, very good player. Florian Wirtz, he's been okay at Liverpool, who've just got a new manager. 11 international goals, 40 caps at 23. I like him very much. I think he's better, arguably, for Germany than he is for his club. Serge Gnabry is a very good player as well. What does it say about him? Serge Gnabry. Can't find him, but he's a very good player. And then you've got Goretzka, Kimmich. He's been around a very long time, still only 31. You've got Malik Thiaw, he's at Newcastle as well. There's a few unfamiliar names here, though, with not a whole lot of international experience. It's a big tournament for Germany. They should win this group. and you can never rule them out getting very far in any tournament. But in terms of winning, yeah, it might be a step too far. As for the Ivory Coast, well, they had Drogba when I was growing up. He's long gone. You've got Sangare at Nottingham Forest. You've got Diallo. He's not bad. He's at Man United. You've got a couple of players based in Portugal, a few in Italy. You've got Gesand, who is a striker for Crystal Palace. He's okay. Nicolas Pepe, he wasn't that brilliant at Arsenal. He's doing okay in Spain now. Yeah, can't really say too much about the team, to be honest with you. I think they've got to be aiming for second in this group. That match with Ecuador, who they play first, is a big one. And then you've got Curacao. I missed them out, I think. Yes, Curacao. Dick Advocar is the manager. He quit, and then he's come back. And he's getting on, to say the least. I think he will be the oldest manager ever at a World Cup. You've got a lot of players here based in the Netherlands. Chong was on Man United's books. He's now at Sheffield United. You've got a guy for Rotherham. You've got a guy for Middlesbrough, who are in the second tier of English football. The oldest guy is 37. The youngest is 22. No player has over 71 appearances. It's going to be very, very tough. They are the smallest country ever to qualify, and when Germany play them, they could win 10-0. It could happen. You just never know. Curacao are probably going to be absolutely battered in every game, but if they nab a goal and they've got a lot of support and a lot of determination, you just never know. Moving into Group F, Japan, the Netherlands, Tunisia, Sweden. Tasty group this. We begin with Japan, who played England recently and won. They are a good team. They are dark horses. They have never made it past the last 16 at any World Cup, but they are regular qualifiers. Their goalkeeper is Suzuki, who's 23 and plays in Italy for Parma. 39-year-old Nagatomo is still there in defence, 145 appearances. Doesn't look like he's going to be a starter, though. The youngest player in the squad is 21. Minamino, I think, is injured. Was on Liverpool's books. Don't know where he's playing now. I think it's in Germany, but he's not here. Mitoma, great player for Brighton, but he's injured. That's going to be a bit of a loss. Daisen Maeda, apologies for my pronunciation, he's at Celtic banging the goals in, but his goal-scoring record for Japan is not the best. What about that other guy who's Japanese who used to play for them? He's not here. Very surprising. But they are a good team. They are a good, hard-to-beat team. So Japan, I'll be keeping an eye on them. As for the Netherlands, Ronald Koeman is the boss. He's been around a long, long time. Oh man, the Netherlands have always had great players. Schneider, Van der Vaart, Van der Sar, Van Nistelrooy, Vennegoor of Hesseling, one of the greatest names ever in world football. Van Hooijdonk, who used to play at Nottingham Forest once upon a time. Seedorf, Edgar Davids, Jaap Stam, great players. This squad is not too bad. Memphis Depay, who was not great at Man United from what I remember, he's now playing in Brazil. 55 international goals, which makes him the all-time leading goal scorer for the Netherlands, which is quite incredible. And he does regularly score for his country. So he's going to be leading the line, that's what I meant to say. Cody Gakpo, yeah, very, very indifferent season, I would say, at Liverpool. He's not bad, but he's not incredible. The goalkeeping position is interesting because I think the number one is going to be Sunderland's goalkeeper, Robin Roofs. And he's not bad. He's had a very good season for Sunderland. But you have got Bart Verbruggen, who plays at Brighton. He's not bad as well. Timbers at Arsenal. He's not bad. Van der Ven is very quick, rapid. He's at Spurs. He's far too good for them. Should leave this summer. Very good player for them. Gravenberch, he's a very good player in midfield. Justin Kluivert, the son of the other Kluivert who used to play for the Netherlands. He's at Bournemouth. Frenkie de Jong, yeah, not a bad player. He's got a beautiful partner. Silencio Somerville, he's at West Ham. He's okay. Wout Weghorst is still pulling the strings as well. He's at Ajax. It's not a bad squad. But in terms of winning the World Cup, I'm just not sure that's going to happen. But there are some good players. Is De Ligt in the squad? Or is he injured? Matthijs De Ligt. He might be injured. That's a shame. Then we have Sweden. They were terrible in qualifying, but because of the way it works with the Nations League as well, they're through. Graham Potter is the boss. He was at West Ham. He was at Chelsea. He wasn't brilliant. But now he's doing okay as the manager of Sweden. They had Ibrahimovic when I was growing up. Looking at their squad now, Lindelof, he's only 31, plays at Aston Villa, was on Man United's books, he's still there, 76 international caps. Alexander Isak is a great player, but he's been injured on and off for a long time. Played for Newcastle, was great. Now at Liverpool, not been brilliant. Elanga, he's had a poor season at Newcastle, I would say. Gyökeres, very good player, banging the goals in, starting to come really good for Arsenal. He is a very, very important player. Golden Boot winner, I doubt it unless Sweden go very, very far. They have finished third at the World Cup before. And, there's a few standout names, and then a lot of players who maybe aren't that world-class in my opinion. But Sweden, it's a tough group, this. I think Tunisia, who I'll mention in a second, are done for. But who wins this group? It's really up for grabs. As for Tunisia, they're managed by a Frenchman. You've got a couple of players based in Germany, Tunisia itself. Ben Slimane is at Norwich. You've got a guy here who plays for Celtic. You've got Hannibal Mejbri, who plays for Burnley. Yes. I don't know too much about the Tunisian squad. I've got to be honest with you. I think this is going to be a very difficult tournament for them. Moving on to Group G. My word, how long is this video? Good Lord, I need to wrap it up. Group G, Egypt, Belgium, Iran and New Zealand. Belgium are managed by a Frenchman. And growing up they had Vertonghen, who I think is still playing, I'm not entirely sure. Lukaku is still playing. His goal-scoring record is sensational. 90 international goals in 125 appearances. Played a lot in the Premier League. Wasn't bad. Now at Napoli, still not bad. But this is going to be his last international tournament, I'm sure. Who else did they have? De Bruyne, well, he's still doing the business. You've got Courtois in goal. Jeremy Doku is this rapid guy on the wing. They're definitely going to be using him as much as they can. He's at Manchester City. A lot of these players are playing for big, big clubs, and the golden generation is over. Is a new golden generation forming? I don't think so. Belgium, if they make the quarterfinals, it's a successful tournament. It's as simple as that. Then we have Egypt. Well, it's all about Mo Salah. 67 international goals. He's 33. He's just left Liverpool. 115 appearances. You've got Trezeguet, nearly 100 appearances as well. They've got a 37-year-old goalkeeper. Most of these guys are based in Egypt. I can't really say too much about the team. I'm not familiar with a lot of the players, but they are one of the leading African sides. They will be a threat for anybody. Then you have Iran. They are going to be at this tournament, but there was talk some time ago about them pulling out because of the political tension. They have a 33-year-old goalkeeper. They have one of the leading Asian players in Mehdi Taremi, 60 international goals, plays for Olympiacos in Greece. Most of these guys are based in Iran, which of course helps with the squad harmony. Everybody knows each other. But in terms of progression, that might be hard to come by. New Zealand, they're managed by an Englishman, Darren Baisley, who did play for a couple of English teams. Chris Wood is leading the line. He's at Nottingham Forest. He bangs in the goals when he's fit. He has been injured for quite a while, though. 45 international goals, nearly 90 appearances. But yeah, a lot of these players are, you've got a guy here who plays for Braintree in the English non-league system, Tommy Smith. They're playing England in a friendly this evening, and to be honest, they are going to get so battered. It's unbelievable. Then again, England aren't that incredible in my opinion, but they should absolutely be beating New Zealand, I'm afraid. They're also playing England in the cricket at the moment. This is their first World Cup since 2010. It's going to be very, very difficult for them to get anything from this group stage. And then, have I mentioned every team in Group G? I think I have. So we move on to Group H, Uruguay, Spain, Saudi Arabia and Cape Verde. Cape Verde, this is their first World Cup. They've got a lot of experienced players. They've got a 36-year-old striker who plays in Turkey, nearly 100 appearances. Goals might be hard to come by because there's no other player in this squad who has more than 9 international goals. You've got a couple of players based in Portugal, one in Finland, one in America, one plays for Shamrock Rovers in Ireland. Yes, another team that could find it a very, very difficult experience at this World Cup. As for Saudi Arabia, they're managed by a Greek man, apparently. They must have changed their manager very recently. Every single player bar one is based in Saudi Arabia. There's quite a bit of experience. Salim Al-Dawsari is 34, over 100 appearances. Can't say too much about them. They beat Argentina at the last World Cup, though, so they are no pushovers. As for Spain, my favourites for the tournament. What a fantastic squad. David Raya is one of the best goalkeepers in the world. He's at Arsenal. Unai Simon is great as well at Bilbao. You've got Laporte. He's not bad. He's at Bilbao. Cucurella. He's at Chelsea. One of Chelsea's better players this past season. You've got Rodri, Ballon d'Or winner. He's at Manchester City. Not been the same since he came back from injury, but still very good. Zubimendi's at Arsenal, very good. Pedri is fantastic. Nearly 50 caps. He's 23, playing at Barca. Dani Olmo is not bad. He's at Barca. Nico Williams is a fantastic player, sort of cutting in on the wing. He's 23, plays for Bilbao. Oyarzabal is great. He's at Sociedad. And, of course, you've got Lamine Yamal, who may just be fit in time for their first game of this tournament, which is going to be against Cape Verde in Atlanta on June the 15th. They've got a very good manager. I'm not a big fan of the pass style of football, but they've got the best young player by a mile in the world. Anything could happen. This is a bit of a golden generation forming once again. They're my favourites for the tournament. And then you've got Uruguay, who can never really be underestimated. They've won the World Cup before, the very first tournament, and then again in 1950. Luis Suarez, not to be found. I think he's long retired from international football. You've got Ugarte at Man United, Bentancur at Tottenham, a couple of players based in Brazil. You've got Bueno, who's at Wolves. He's okay. Muslera is 39, likely to start in goal. It's not a bad squad. Bielsa is the manager, very, very experienced, quite eccentric, was the manager of Leeds a couple of years ago. Very, very good man to have in charge. He's been in charge for quite some time, I believe. Anyway, Valverde, he's pretty good. Didn't he score in the Champions League? Didn't he score a hat-trick against Man City in the Champions League recently? I feel he did. Anyway, it's not a bad squad. Uruguay should be going through with Spain without breaking a sweat. Group I, my God, there's still 3 groups to go after this. So I'm really going to be very, very rapid. Group I, Norway, France, Senegal, Iraq. France, they made the World Cup final last time out. They won the World Cup the time before that. Mbappe is going to be the all-time leading World Cup goal scorer before you know it. He's the favourite for the Golden Boot, I believe. He has 56 international goals, nearly 100 appearances, doing the business for Real Madrid. Absolutely sensational. If Real Madrid sign Haaland as well, my God, they are going to be a force for many years to come. Olise is a great player. Desiree Doué is one of the best young players in the world. You've got a couple of players based in England as well. Gusto, Digne, yes. Mike Maignan, 30 years of age, not a bad goalkeeper. He's on AC Milan's books. N'Golo Kante is still in the squad. They're going to be one of the favourites, no doubt about it. Deschamps, I think, is stepping down after this tournament. Then you've got Iraq, who I think drew with Spain in a friendly recently. They're managed by an Australian. Don't know too much about their players. One of them is based at Luton, Ali Al-Hamadi. Yes, indeed, I am familiar with that name, but I don't know too much about them. Have they played at a World Cup before? Yes, in 1986. Norway are one of the dark horses of this tournament. They are so good. They really are so good. This is a golden generation and a half. Haaland only breathes, and he has a hat-trick. He's a very irritating player, but he is very, very good. More goals than games for his country. You've got Sorloth. He's not too bad. He's at Atletico Madrid. You've got Ødegaard, who I think has been injured a little bit recently. Only 4 international goals, but he's at Arsenal. Great player. Oscar Bob, he's a great young player. He's on Fulham's books, was at Man City. Yeah, there's some real star quality here. Not too sure maybe about the defence, but going forward's a real threat for anybody. And they could go very far in this tournament. Then you've got Senegal, one of the leading African teams. Their manager is in his mid-40s. You've got Mamadou Sarr, he's a defender at Chelsea. You've got Ndiaye at Everton. You've got Sarr at Tottenham. Another Sarr at Crystal Palace. You've got Diarra at Sunderland. You've got a guy at Bayern Munich. 2 guys at Bayern Munich. Nicholas Jackson, he was at Chelsea up until recently. You've got Mane, great at Liverpool, now playing in Saudi Arabia. It's a good team. Again, a threat for anybody. This is a very difficult group. France, Norway and Senegal should all go through. As for Group J, you have got Austria, Argentina, Algeria, Jordan. Austria are still led by Marko Arnautovic, who must be 50 years of age by now. Ralf Rangnick, who was the manager of Man United for a bit, he's doing good things as manager of Austria. Arnautovic is actually 37, nearly 50 international goals, now playing in Serbia. David Alaba, captain, 33, he's at Real Madrid, 15 international goals. Sabitzer has over 20 international goals, as does Gregoric. It's not a bad team at all, actually. Again, I use that phrase dark horses because they absolutely could be. As for Algeria, don't know too much about them. Riyad Mahrez is still playing for them, was on Manchester City's books for years, and he used to play for Leicester. Where is he? Yes, there he is. He's the captain, 38 international goals, now playing in Saudi Arabia. Bentaleb, he's been around a long time, did play in the Premier League as well, I believe. He's at Lille in France. Yes, players are spread far and wide, but I'm not sure they're going to get out of this group. If they do, it'll be as one of the best third-place teams potentially. That match with Austria in Kansas City is a big one. Argentina are the current champions. Messi, of course, is still leading the line. Nearly 200 appearances, 116 international goals. When he retires, who replaces him? Is he irreplaceable? Perhaps so. Lautaro Martinez is one of the great underrated strikers in the world, plays for Inter Milan. Dybala is not here, which is surprising. Julian Alvarez, he's at Atletico Madrid, was on Manchester City's books, very good player. Goal-scoring record for his nation could be a bit better. You've got McAllister at Liverpool, he's a good player, could be leaving though this summer. Fernandes at Chelsea, good player, could be leaving this summer. Lisandro Martinez at Man United could also be leaving this summer. Yeah, Messi is absolutely the star name here by a mile. I didn't think they were going to win the last World Cup, but look what happened. Could they do it again? Potentially. And then that leaves Jordan, who I just think are going to be definitely overpowered in this tournament. They're managed by a Moroccan. Most of the players play in Jordan. Moussa Al-Tamari seems to be the star man here. Nearly 100 caps. 29 years of age, plays in France, which isn't bad. But we move on to Group K. Colombia, Portugal, Uzbekistan and DR Congo. Colombia, they're managed by an Argentinian. You've still got James Rodriguez. He scored that great World Cup goal years back, sort of facing the other way and then turned, whacked it in on the volley. Absolutely fantastic. Playing in the MLS for Minnesota. They've got a very experienced goalkeeper. Luis Diaz, he's a very good player, was on Liverpool's books, now he's at Bayern Munich. Davinson Sanchez, he was on Spurs' books, I think, now he's playing in Turkey. Munoz, not a bad player, defender, he's at Crystal Palace. Again, players are spread far and wide here. I don't think any of them play, apart from one, in Colombia. So there you go. Lovely stuff. As for DR Congo, came through the Intercontinental Playoffs, I think it was. Chancel Mbemba is the captain. He's at Lille. You've got a guy who plays for Watford. You've got Wissa. Very disappointing so far for Newcastle, it has to be said. Used to play for Brentford. Got a guy who plays for Sunderland. They've got a lot of players at this tournament. Twanzebe, I think he played for Man United for a bit. Now he's at Burnley, who've just been relegated. Wan-Bissaka was capped by England, I think, but now he's at West Ham. Yeah. There's a couple of star players here, but it's going to be a very difficult tournament for them. Portugal, of course, Ronaldo, who will never retire. 226 appearances, 143 international goals, 41 years of age. When he retires, his son will start playing, so the Ronaldo name will go on for a long, long time. He will be the manager of Portugal at some point, I'm sure. Great player. I've always preferred Messi, but of course, I absolutely understand Ronaldo is world class. Bernardo Silva, great player. Fernandes usually scores penalties, not a bad player. Player of the season, actually, I think, at Manchester United. Ruben Diaz is good for Man City. João Cancelo is good for Barcelona. You can't rule out this team doing the business. They are pretty darn good. And with Ronaldo on top form, they are going to get some goals, that's for sure. Roberto Martinez, who used to play for Wigan, is the manager. Also was the manager of Belgium once upon a time. And then you've got Uzbekistan. They're going to find it very, very difficult. They do have a player for Manchester City, though. That is Kusanov. Yes, he's only 22 years of age. Shomurodov has 44 international goals in 91 appearances. He's based in Turkey and is 30 years of age. This is their first World Cup. Good luck to them, but it's going to be very difficult to get out of this group. That leaves England's group, which has Croatia. Modric is still here, unbelievably. He's 40 years of age, nearly 200 appearances. He's at AC Milan, still pulling the strings. Perisic is experienced. Kramaric is experienced. Kovacic is experienced. Played for Chelsea, now at Manchester City, has been for a while. Yeah, a lot of these players play for big clubs, spread far and wide. Gvardiol, he's a good player on his day at Manchester City as well. They have finished third at the World Cup before and runners-up at the World Cup before, so do not rule them out doing the same again. England will leave for a moment. We move on to Ghana. Very experienced manager Carlos Queiroz. They did play England in a friendly not so long ago, if I remember correctly, but I can't quite recall. Jordan Ayew at Leicester. He won't be there much longer, I'm sure. He's 34, very experienced. Thomas Partey, controversially, is part of the squad. Semenyo is a great player, was at Bournemouth, now at Man City, banging the goals in, very good player. He could have a breakthrough tournament. yeah, not a bad team, but the best they can probably hope for is third place. Panama played England at the World Cup not so long ago and got battered in 2018. Their manager is Spanish. They have some very experienced players, 36, 38, 35. Nobody playing in England apart from Norwich City's Jose Cordoba, who's 25, 32 international caps, 1 goal. Yeah, they're going to have a lot of support. Are they playing in Mexico? No, they're not. They're playing in Canada and then against England in New York, New Jersey. We'll wait and see, but I think Panama are going to be bottom of this group. And that leaves England. Well, I'm running out of steam here, so I'll keep it very, very brief and say that I've not been impressed with England for a long, long time. Obviously, they have done well at international tournaments recently, but they do bottle it when the going gets tough. I've always been a little bit dubious of previous England managers because they have their favourites and tactical decisions are not always the best. The manager is very good, very experienced. I don't mind him at all. Harry Kane obviously has been sensational. Mainly scores penalties, in my opinion, but obviously having him in top form is crucial. If he gets injured, we are stuffed because no other striker can really step in and do the business. Ollie Watkins, he's good, but he's not on the same level. Jordan Henderson, he's past it. He's only in the squad for experience. Declan Rice, I think, should be England's captain. I like him very much. Good from set pieces. Those 2 goals he scored against Real Madrid in the Champions League, whenever it was, absolutely fantastic. Rashford, don't really like him. Don't really know why he's in the squad. Bukayo Saka, one of England's best players, if not England's best player. Very, very good indeed. Jude Bellingham, he's okay, but he's not had the most amazing season. Mark Gahey in defence, pretty good. Reece James, usually injured. Anthony Gordon, not the best temperament. Eze, pretty good player. Morgan Rogers should be starting ahead of Bellingham. Ivan Toney, set-piece specialist, but, you know, he's playing in Saudi Arabia. And then you've got Nico O'Reilly, could be very good moving forwards. Don't know why Dan Burn is in the squad. He does offer some height and experience. Gibbs White should be here. What else is there to say? I mean, I can see us getting to the quarterfinals at the very least, but this is not a squad that I think is capable of beating France or Spain, but we'll wait and see. We will wait and see. And you've got to pick players based on form. So Rodgers should be starting. Elliot Anderson should probably be starting. Anthony Gordon. You can't fit them all in, of course. But there are some players here who probably shouldn't be here. But that's the case for every international squad. If I now briefly go through my prediction, my word, bear with me. It's all loaded up here. So if I just click group stage. So, just for the record, Mexico and Czechia to go through Group A, Canada, Switzerland Group B, Brazil, Morocco Group C, Turkey, USA Group D, Germany, Ivory Coast Group E, Netherlands, Japan Group F, Belgium, Egypt Group G, Spain, Uruguay Group H, France, Norway Group I, Argentina, Austria Group J, Portugal, Colombia Group K, England, Croatia Group L, and then it's got the ranking of the third place teams: Australia, Iran, DR Congo and Saudi Arabia missing out. The knockout route would be as follows: Germany against Scotland, France against Sweden, Czechia against Switzerland, Netherlands against Morocco, Colombia against Croatia, Spain against Austria, Turkey against Bosnia, Belgium against Korea Republic, Brazil against Japan, this is on the other side now, Ivory Coast against Norway, Mexico, Ecuador, England, Senegal, Argentina, Uruguay. I think it was England who played Senegal in the friendly, not against Ghana. Doesn't really matter. USA, Egypt, Canada, Algeria, Portugal, Ghana. Then I think it would be, if it works out this way, which would be incredible, Germany against France, Switzerland against the Netherlands, and then I think it would be Netherlands against France, Croatia against Spain, Turkey against Belgium, and then I think Turkey would beat Belgium, so then it would be Belgium against Spain, and then I think it would be Spain against France in the first semi-final. Brazil against Norway. Norway could win that, but I'm going to say Brazil. Mexico against England. Argentina against the USA. Tasty. Canada against Portugal. Then I think it would be Portugal against Argentina. Very tasty. And I think it would be Brazil against England. And then I think it would be Brazil against Argentina, actually. Brazil against Argentina, and then I think in the final, Spain, Argentina, Spain to win it. But we'll wait and see. My word, I spoke for at least 40 minutes longer than I wanted to. What an absolute mess. But if you've watched my videos previously about Eurovision, you'll know that this is not a surprise. I'm leaving it there. Apologies if I missed anybody out or got some statistics wrong. I was just basing this off from what I read online and what it says in my magazine, which was printed ages ago. Let me know your thoughts on who's going to win the World Cup, the Golden Boot, the Dark Horses, how well England will do, how well your country will do, all of that. And I'll be back with more content, probably about Eurovision again, in the near future. Until next time, take care of yourselves, stay safe, and roll on this year's World Cup. I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.